There we go. All right. And just as Tom arrives, hooray. Hello, Tom. Can you hear us? Testing one, two, three.
He's muted anyway. Well,
Out of the cabin right now, so I'm
Ah.
on the. But I've got enough battery and mobile internet to keep it running. But okay, yes, here I am.
Hello, and welcome to the August Datocracy. The world is getting even more bizarre and interesting. Uh, 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 I have no idea what's happening in Iran. It's not clear that anybody does. Things do not look great for anybody involved, as far as I can tell, which I guess is not the worst case scenario. But I think I finally concluded that everyone's been sort of lying to themselves about what's happening in the Middle East for a long time, including all the people in power. And now somebody has to wake up and face reality. It's not clear who will first, but it is what it is. Russia's definitely having a hard month. Ukraine's had a rough month too, but probably not as bad as Russia. Um, my best estimate is that the Russian elections in September are not so much like the elections themselves, but Putin, as far as I can tell, appears to be in complete denial about what's happening in with the Ukrainian drone strikes. And so if he doesn't actually like if the situation doesn't get better and they keep saying, oh, it's only temporary, don't worry about it, it's unlikely to end well for him. But anyway, that's the world at war. Um, Anything new in terms of books or conferences, Tom?
Oh yeah, wrote a new book yesterday.
Of course.
Yeah, I
Um,
I held an international lecture today about suppliers and clients, and I've updated my app with about 10 different things since last time. So yeah, a lot
okay,
of
cool.
things going on.
Is the app public yet? I know it's still embargoed on our site.
Yeah, that's right. No, no, my app is still locked into me and nobody else, so I can
Okay.
show it, I can export certain things, but we're getting there. Sun Kai has a server and a new, let's call it operating system, ready to put my stuff on it. So
Oh,
that will
wow.
allow it to be shared more easily. Yeah. His operating system is the one we have a patent pending on, which is based on the idea of multi-level considerations.
Yeah.
There. Um, I had my first meeting with working with a friend in the Navy for a while, and because he thinks all my ideas ought to be adopted by the Navy, and of course I agree.
Ugh.
But
I
we
thought
had
you
a
were going to
he
say.
had
I
a
thought you were going to say he thinks all your ideas should be sunk to the bottom of the ocean in the best possible way.
yeah yeah. Oh, we got to help the guys on these hangar ships, poor guys. But he had an old friend and associate who's a retired rear admiral who runs a big software company today. But
Wow.
we're using the retired rear admiral to get influence because he knows all the old boys
Oh
network.
yeah, sure.
And so we had a meeting on the 19th, which went very well. And so we think we're in with the, we've made our inroads in the Navy. We'll watch that story.
did the
Uh,
Norwegian
this, sorry, go ahead,
did the Norwegian
Ernest.
I couldn't hear you, Ernest.
is this the Norwegian Navy?
Oh, sorry, this is U.S. Navy.
Okay. Not obvious in context.
No, 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 no. That's a good question, Ernest.
The same
I,
Navy
I,
that wants to go back to whatchamacallit, battleships? That Navy?
what battleships, right? Yeah, no, we're working at the level of using Planguage to look at all their contracts for ships.
Oh,
And if
Ah,
the ships are specified well enough for anything they buy. And I've worked with my app to build a thing called contracts to analyze, and I've analyzed like the Indianapolis ship, the one that took the atom bomb to Japan
oh
in
wow.
45 and got sunk, and the crew got eaten by the sharks. I've analyzed the whole contract for the Indianapolis using my software, and I can, point out weak points there. Uh, but I can point out weak points in a contract, like certain things are
Mm,
bullshit, but they aren't specified well enough type of things. Or even violations of naval standards for contracts. That's built in too.
yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's
So
interesting. A
that
lot of one thing that it makes you realize is a lot of bureaucracy wants human beings to act like machines. And so the more you can let the machines do the machinery, the less human beings have to uh, do. It was funny. There was a ad I saw in San Francisco yesterday. The first version of it was, hire Ava, your virtual salesperson, fire your humans. And then the more recent one was, sorry, humans. Humans are good. Use machines for the drudge work. And I guess that's a positive take, is that people are slowly starting to realize that AI is not a magical god that you should trust. It's a wild animal you should keep, harnessed and tamed so it obeys the humans and doesn't eat you. Um, so I don't know. I always ask this question, Ernest. Anything positive or encouraging that you've seen this month? uh,
well, I like the in the political realm, the movement to the left that the
the,
Democratic Party is having.
the new Florida senator
That
candidate.
there's one also in California, Contra Costa County, where I used to live. Aisha
Mm,
Wahab, she won, and in general, it's there's people that are rising up. They're being kind of opposed by the centrists, by the Hakim Jeffries and the people at the top that want to keep the status quo, even though it involves defending Republicans against Democrats. That to me, that makes absolutely no sense. They're attacking Abdul to they actually want this Republican to win against Abdul. I just don't understand their positions. If you're a centrist or a moderate, it means you have no spine, no core. The people who have the core are at the right or at the left. You know, even though I consider the extreme right extremely wrong, but still, at least they keep to the principles. You know,
well,
an example
principles
is
might be a little too generous, but at least they keep to their convictions.
conviction. Yeah,
Yeah.
like uh, uh, Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's America first, and she is America first, no matter what her erstwhile idol does. Um, so in that regard, it's kind of inspired. I'm looking forward to the election. Um, and I'm also appreciative that being having a concrete position regarding genocide is becoming cool. It's becoming generally acceptable. It's becoming okay to be against a country just killing babies. Like a couple of years ago, that was not the case, or was less so. But now people are waking up to the realities of this. And not just in the last few years. This has been going on for decades. Um, I I I don't know what your guys' position. Well, my position on these on what the of what Israel is. It's like those fungi that attack ants and insects that get in the brain or in the head of insects, and then they disconnect the brain from the body, and then they start manip. That to me, that's Israel, and the world is finally seeing this because it doesn't matter what it is when it comes to peace. Israel does not want peace, regardless of the situation. They want to fight Turkey now. They want to fight NATO. They want to fight anyone who does not agree with their expansionist uh, motivation, and that's one of the things the good news that I've seen in the past few months, especially in the past month. Yeah.
All right, we'll take it. And now that Tom's eating, I'm going to make him talk. So he takes an even bigger bite. So, much delayed. I guess I'll give you 2 minutes while you can finish chewing while you queue up your incorruptible bot. I've been thinking a lot about, and this is probably uncomfortable for everybody, but about how do we bound AI? I think I got one grudging admission from you, Ernest, a while ago that like, okay, as long as humans are still in charge and no one, AI don't actually get to impact the real world unless a human being is signed off on it, maybe it's not all evil. Uh, I think that was the closest I got you to at least acknowledging that there was some value in one of the documents I sent you that was AI generated. And so we'll sit with that fragile truce for now. Tom, are you ready to talk about Incorruptible and our friend Eric Ries?
Yes, I guess I can.
I guess not a friend. I don't know him personally. I've been following him forever, so I have asymmetric.
Right. I've got two
intimacy.
books autographed for me by him, but
in person or just
no, I got
mailed
some
you?
friends to get it for me.
Okay.
So, but let's see, share. Oh, wait a minute, I don't share that. Sorry, wrong stuff. Here, we can get rid of Keynote totally, just for starters. We are in Zoom. I'm trying to do something as simple as
somehow it feels like every time they do the UI, it gets harder to keep track of where all your stuff is. They keep trying, and they've so far not yet nailed it.
Right. Share. I guess that's entire screen. Okay.
That's the simplest.
That helps. Okay. Yeah. That's tends to work better. Okay. Oh, the power came back on. Right. So maybe so I can, well, I'll just run it off. I'll run it. I won't touch anything if it works. But the power came back in the cabinet.
That's probably wise. Yeah.
Okay. So now I need to go to Sim, my app. Get rid of the floating meeting controls.
Sorry. Okay. Is this a thing that we can show, or is this part of your top secret stuff we have to embargo?
No, it's not top secret. Now, wait a minute. I haven't been there a while because I've been doing other things. So I'm trying to think whether it's.
Do you need a local agent running to?
Yeah, I'm using Olama local agent, but yeah, wait a minute.
Life on the bleeding edge.
Yeah, I should have maybe checked it, but I
Maybe how about you want to stop sharing your screen while you fight it out, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I can monologue while we're waiting.
Yeah. Let me get it working. So stop sharing screen, right? Even how do you do that? We're in Zoom. That doesn't work.
Here, I
There's a little
can stop
button
it.
called you can stop it. Okay, I found a little button here for sharing. That's no
Anyway,
good designer logic from Apple here.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'll let you work on that in the background. I'll share some things I've been thinking about. One of the big things that has come to me, Ernest, which I guess you probably realized this years ago, is that there is a Silicon Valley fetish about super intelligent agents with like godlike powers making decisions for us. Is that a fair characterization of what you've been seeing?
I mean, I guess, I've been thinking about the Alien series, the Prometheus, and all those movies, and the what they call them, the robots that has
Replicas or
not, they have a name for them. The synths. And
ah,
there's a, yeah, the latest series is called Alien Earth, and they have three types of life. One is the pure robots, they called, I forgot what they call it, the pure robots, right? The the humans that are augmented with, they call those, forgot the
like
name.
cyborgs, basically.
Yeah, cyborg is the human augmented, right?
Hmm.
The synths are the pure machine, right? And then
Hmm.
the hybrids are machines that are implanted with human consciousness. Um,
Wow.
yeah, so it's in Hulu. It's kind of cool. It's
Hmm.
the whole alien thing is I didn't realize it's a whole continuum. Like the guy
Mm.
who wrote it, Ridley Scott. He has a whole.
Mm.
There's more movies coming out.
The Blade Runner guy, right? So this is what he's doing now.
Uh, I don't. Yeah, I guess there's another Prometheus movie that he's working on. But anyway, he merges all this. He merges corporations, big corporations with big egos that use um technology to be like gods. Uh, so I th I don't know. Maybe these guys, the Bezos, this and the Musks, that they see themselves as these people, and and I think we like a year or a year and a half ago we talked about how this AI stuff is supposed to be God. Like some people are starting to and did worship these things as God, and I mentioned to you guys, some people will use this to manipulate people, and this is what we're seeing, right?
Yeah.
It's not theory; it is actual fact. Also, they would use this AI as an excuse to do nefarious things. You know, they blame, oh, it wasn't us, it was the AI. But there's some court situation that somebody sued, I don't know what company, because the AI of the company said you can do that. It has to do with flights. If you think, yeah, like this guy's mother or family member died, and he wanted to take a flight, a bereavement flight, and he asked the AI, "Hey, can I do that?" And the AI, yeah. The AI said, "Yes, you can." But then the company says, "No, that's not. It's not in our rules." But
Not a company policy. So
yeah,
the AI provided by the company disagreed with what the yeah. But I
yeah.
mean, yeah,
Maybe the court,
and
yeah,
the
the
court
court
said
said, "No, your AI said that it was, so now
you
you
should
have to
do.
eat."
So that
So,
sounds like a success. That sounds like a success story.
well, there's some of them. There's some
but,
failure.
but maybe this is the positive spin: is people are realizing that if you use AI, you're still accountable for the consequences. You can't just say, the AI, well, the AI can legitimately use I was just following orders of the people who built me. You can't blame me, blame the officers who told me to do this or who trained me. And just like it is with any corporation, right, is that if an employee does something, the, the stupid version, like a truck driver who works for a company runs over somebody, the company's liable. Doesn't matter if he was drunk, if he was sleeping. Like, you hired the driver, you're responsible for training him. You're putting in charge of machinery. If he does something bad, you're responsible. And the dangerous thing to me is that there's a lot of people who do think that they are gods, and that the rules don't apply to them, and they tend to recreate tools and systems in their own image. Uber being the most horrific example of that. Anyway, Tom, stop me whenever you're ready. I don't want to keep monologuing too much.
I'm okay.
Almost there.
I'm on. I'm on now.
Okay. All right.
So where are we? We zoom, and I
Which
need
is
to
a good
get
segue to incorruptible. Is that the danger is that the people who have sort of selfish, short-sighted modes have a certain cloak of legitimacy. Well, we're just doing this for shareholder value. And the people who are actually trying to do the right thing have historically been very hamstrung by legal, cultural, political norms around the value of business, which, to be fair, before all this, it was more common for organizations to be run kind of for the benefit of management, not for customers, not for shareholders, just for the old boys network. And so focusing on profit was a useful way to kick people out of complacency into dysfunctional nihilism, which I don't know if that was necessarily a step forward, but it was definitely different. And now the hope is that with better communication, better values, and better systems, and maybe even better governance, we can actually empower the people who want to do the right thing to be held accountable to certain values and to hold the companies they build accountable to those same standards. And that those people who actually want to do the right thing can learn how to do it in a way where we support each other and outcompete those who are either hypocrites or narcissists. And that leads us to Eric Ries in Incorruptible and whatever you want to show us, Tom.
Okay. Can you see my colorful screen now?
Yes, I can.
All right. Okay. That's the SEM app. So I got to get rid of this Zoom floating meeting control so I can see things and a few other. Okay. Yeah, this is a list of what I call agents. And there's the incorruptible agent there. There's an Elon Musk agent. There's a Feynman agent, just to indicate that. Here's some new stuff I've put in. One all about resources, everything about prediction of, costs and management there. Equations, I've turned the whole of Planguage into 130 mathematical equations.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and there's Harlan Mills' work at Federal Systems Division. His always on time, under budget, 26, like space shuttle software projects. And then there's, I've developed a family app, which models the family and all the relations. I've put in life design as an agent, and I've put in a prioritization. This is some of the stuff happening. I will now go to, here's the normal process of processing any plan or contract or anything at the top. And a lot of, I've got 200 experiments going on here. And so one of them is incorruptible. And that's there. Let's see, I can resize, make bigger, and Nice stuff like that.
Nice.
So there's a plan in here. It's actually about reducing carbon footprint on the planet by 40%. So nice little green project, which I picked up somewhere to analyze. So here's one of the things you can review it from an incorruptible point of view. I've literally fed the whole Eric Ries book in, and several other of his additional chapters and books. So it's in there and said, those are the rules. Look at it from that point of view. And then you have different points of view as a founder, investor, employee. What are the different points of view there?
Sorry, back up.
Founder guy.
So this is the reviewing as or reviewing for?
Reviewing from the point of view of and the interests of a founder, an investor, employee. Yeah. So like the founder wants to keep control of their company, and the investor wants to get their money back, and the employee doesn't want to lose their job where the company goes down the drain, right? The consumer wants to get Whole Foods, good food, continuing, etc. So these are different points of view. Anyway, it's given actually an incorruptibility score of 88. By the way, it keeps score and shows you how it did it and on what basis it did it, and it's found some problems. So there's a thing called mission drift, which is one of the major principles of incorruptible, where people start off with ideals and they get corrupted and looking for money, sort of like Facebook and Meta in that game. Anyway, so it's analyzed the text we have, and it tells you what it thinks the problem is. But now the interesting thing I've put in as a consistent thing in everything I do is when we find defects against some standard, the standard being Ries's ideas, I say, okay, you're artificial intelligence. Can you, instead of saying fix this defect, why don't you suggest what fix we should apply that might be valid? So here is a suggested fix, which in itself is an interesting concept. We're using AI. You couldn't previously do this kind of stuff as tailored as it is, to exactly this, but now you can. And it even says, what are the long-term consequences of fixing or not fixing? Threatens you a little bit. You can push a little button called accept fix or dismiss, to hell with it. If I do accept fix, things happen generally, including it keeps track of it. It keeps track of two versions, the old version and the versions with the fix, which you finally can say, make this the official.
Because this is basically a pull request. In GitHub, when you have a pull request, you throw to the code and it says, oh, I want to make a suggest, there's a bug here, and I want to suggest it, and then you can commit it. You can stage it, and then when you're done, you say commit all of these, and that becomes the new revision. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And then here's the other
code
one.
Review, I guess, is the more general term.
Yeah. That's right. It's you're right. Here's a thing called a governance hole, which it describes, and it's a moderate. It's about explicit accountability cadence, which is, if you like, Eric Ries's terminology. Here's some direct quotes from Ries, things like
and this other famous,
other famous guy, yeah, and glossary of terms helping out, and anyway, but there's the suggested fix.
Oh, by the way, can you click on Governance Fortress and find out how it's defined?
Yes, I should be able to.
It's a juicy term.
Yeah. Let's see. Normally, there's the question mark.
Can you click? Does it do anything?
Yeah, it did something, and then I moved. Darn.
What if it's a pop-up or something we can't see? Or
yeah. Well, let's see. Well, it went into a more generic looking for terminology, and I won't go there.
Sorry, I messed you
Oh
up.
dear, we sort of gotten, yeah. Okay, that didn't work very well.
Okay, I apologize.
um, back, no, it's okay. Back to incorrupt.
Okay, right.
Okay, I say there's government forces. Okay, so that's literally a bug I should report, saying you should give me the term. But here's the other one, and I can accept the fix. You can also have you might have 50 fixes suggested, and there's another button. I said accept all suggested fixes.
Yeah.
Now, what it does, it will accept the fixes, have the, but it will also it will also compute the consequences. Like, what will this cost more? What new strategies do you have? What is the change in the values? It literally computes all consequences of accepting a fix. Okay, so I'll dismiss that one just for, so here I said dismiss it, and suddenly it decides to go into this, if people dismissed it, I wanted them to take some kind of responsibility. So I said, if they dismiss it, ask them why, and give them some choices, and say on whose authority. Oh my God, I might be held responsible. Maybe I ought to think this through better, right? So here it's like out of scope, and here's the planner who did it. Yeah, but that's interesting in itself. That you're dismissing this, and why are you doing it? It's just a feature I designed there.
Yeah, no, that's really
Okay,
interesting. I just want to take a moment on this because this is interesting, right? There's a
yeah.
phrase we use in software called infrastructure as code. Is that in the past, it used to be just random system administrators would type shell scripts and commands and change security permissions and provision infrastructure and things like this. And the new idea was, okay, this should be like a document, like a piece of code that specifies these are roles, these are the users or whatever. And then you can check that into version control and keep track of it. And you manage your infrastructure the way you manage code and discrete, auditable, verifiable artifacts. You know exactly who did what, when, and why. And what you're describing here is, I guess in the sleuthing, it's almost like governance as code, but it's also planning as code, is that it's an artifact that you can track and audit and requires a certain rigor in how the decision is made, so you know who's doing what, and with at least some context for why. The term of art that's emerging around this is what they call a decision artifact. I don't know if you've heard that term yet. That's your next book title if you haven't. But the idea is that as business is getting faster and as AI is getting more prevalent, knowing who approved what is becoming ever more important. And
yes, but here, I know that I'm fanatic at governance and sources and responsibility. What the insight here was, not what we've approved, but what we have declined to do something about in spite of a flag. That's new.
Yeah, and I think that this is where the term decision artifact gets interesting, is because the decision artifact is most interesting relative to what other alternatives were considered. Is the idea that, like, we chose to do this when we considered options B, we chose to do A after considering B, C, and D, which is different than, okay, I want to do E. Like, well, we decided not to do that. No, you decided not to do B, C, and D. You never even considered E. And anyway, it's a whole thing that's slowly coming out, and I would love to see your book on decision artifacts, because you probably already built most of it, but it's a new term of art that you can play with.
But by the way, please do suggest book titles for me. But let me just tell you very shortly the book I wrote yesterday. Which
yes.
I'll give you. Yeah, a friend of mine, a new friend of mine, actually. He was in the meeting with the admiral. But he's an old naval colleague of the admiral. He's the CEO of a software company. Very interesting guy called Ed Zapolsky. Anyway, he made a off the cuff remark that doing development is a series of processes where the initial intent gets more and more corrupted as you go along, and you finally end up with code that doesn't do anything. Yeah. but he was actually describing the entropy of the specifications of the system, the negative
Yeah.
entropy.
Yes.
Okay. Now I stopped him and I said, yes, you are correct that normally happens, but that's not a law of nature. There are tactics which can reverse the entropy and make things better and better as you go along. And that really woke him up. And he's a very smart guy. He said, oh, wow. Yeah. Can you give me some examples? So I gave him some examples, like the work I've done at Boeing, where we totally changed the engineering to finding and fixing too few defects, to preventing the defects from getting in there in the first place. And we created positive entropy. In other words, as things went along in the process, they actually got better and better through my methods.
Right.
Okay?
And I think
so I wrote a book called Noise yesterday, which I can show you parts of. I've got a minute or two, and I can give you a copy of, which I tackle this idea of garbage in, garbage out is another version of this, is not inevitable. It's a result of lack of tactics to reverse the entropy.
Yeah,
that's what I did yesterday.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Let me show you what. Let me show you
Okay.
what. Yeah, I'll show you. But let me show you one more thing while we're here. You got the general idea of the things going on here. Now, there's one more thing I want to show you. It's a feature I use in a lot of my wherever I'm finding defects. Put it that way. Sorry. It's that wherever I want to improve something, we have a thing called Sharpen. Sharpen the plant, make it sharper.
It's like the button on the photograph that sort of removes the blurring.
Yeah.
Sharpen.
But let me show you Sharpen for incorruptible. See, this is incorruptible sharpening. Okay. Now, what it is, first, these are some of the major ideas of Eric. There's that mission drift we looked at before. There's innovation, budget, predation, and governance. There's the governance hole, by the way, as you asked about, a little definition there. Let's keep on governance hole. Okay, so now what sharpening does, it analyzes your plan in detail using AI, right? And it finds potential violations of, in this case, Eric's ideas of what are good principles. And then it asks some questions. Here's the question. Who reviews this plan? Of what cadence? What evidence is required? What happens if review is missed? And then it has, and then it uses AI again to suggest answers. These are not canned answers. These are tailored by AI to your exact plan as it stands now in your exact situation. And they're intelligent questions, tailored, and intelligent answers. And you can, tick an answer, and you can even tick more than one answer. And we're very open-ended. You can even give your own answer, right? All of that. And then you can say, apply this answer. Now, there are about 5 of these you can generate. You can do this over and over as much as you want, by the way. So here it says 1 out of 12 questions answered. So we see how many questions are there.
Okay, so
now,
let me just pause and understand what you're
answer.
doing. Is you're saying that it's looking at the document and coming up with its best guess of how an expert human who reviewed this document would answer it, and then you can say, yes, I agree with that. Or,
Yes,
that might be what the document says, but maybe this is not what the document should say, and I could choose that as what the answer should be.
Yeah. So that's how we termed it. First, it's AI suggested. It's not canned answers of any kind, like multiple choice tests, and it's called starter answers. In other words, it'll nudge you in the right direction in your system. What it does when you're and it suggests better answers than your best expert friend would suggest to you. That's what it does all the time. And it's still open for you plug in your answer. And you can have all of these answers and your own, okay? Now, at some point, synthesize and apply all, you press that button. What it does, it goes and changes your plan, which is always in the common language called Planguage. In other words, quantified values and stakeholders and constraints and stuff like that. And it goes and changes the plan, and it gives you a list of exactly what is changed in the plan. Okay, synthesize and apply. We ended up back where I didn't really want to go, but okay, maybe it isn't even working. Okay, but so in other words, what you can do is you can not only get some criticism of what's wrong with your plan compared to incorruptible ideals, but you can make the plan better and better with these questions and answers, which are AI generated. And so, that's the end of my lecture about incorruptible.
Yeah,
but we can.
but no, that's great. Yeah, and the idea is that you can't stop bad people who want to do bad things, but you can at least help good people who want to do good things have a better chance of following through.
Hey, the incorruptibility score went up to 100. I must be
Because
making progress here.
Is that because there's nothing in this document?
No, there
because
is.
you applied
We went up
all
from
the fixes.
78. We applied all the fixes, and we got a really good score. So our company, and with its ideals, it's going to survive for the long term, in spite of the capitalists coming after it with greed for money, for selling, destroying Whole Foods or something like that for money. Yeah. Anyway, so that's that. If you want a quick one about the noise book, I will first make sure you get a copy.
Can I place a guess before you show me what it is? Because I've been thinking about this a lot lately. My guess is that the key to reversing entropy is having a clear rubric and feedback loops.
I'm not sure what a rubric means.
A rubric is an academic term. You probably have a better term for it in Planguage, which is a definition of what good is, or a quality gate.
Definition of what good is. Yes. Okay. Now, and by the way, the very simple answer in my context is that what is good is defined by the value objectives. That is the definition of good. Now, here I just want to make sure, as we're moving towards the end. So I put books in there, and there's the noise book.
Okay.
There's also my new book on Planguage logic.
Is that where the equations came from?
The equations are in there, and that it's quite sexy. Actually, I can if we got 10 minutes and I get 2 times 5 minutes, I'll give you a peek at noise and the equations.
Let's go with noise first and see if we have time.
Sure. So just a moment. I hope we'll see their keynote. Okay. And give me a noise book. Yeah, I just started writing it. It's this. Have you ever heard of Nurstrander, a Danish philosopher?
I said you said Nostradamus, but no.
Okay. Yeah, no. Okay. Anyway, so there's noise, and of course I had to make an acronym of it, and I'm very proud of myself. I love. It's an acronym for noise or information signal efficiency.
That's a nice
pretty
one.
Good.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. Okay, so introduction. Here's the story. 19th of August, Ed Zapolsky made the remark that in the process of developing projects, blah, blah, series of processes which reduce the signal, use the term the signal, and it sort of enhanced the noise. And unfortunately, he was right about the current practice. And we have this failure rate of the 16,000 projects that Bent studied, where 99.5% have some kind of partial failure. Anyway, so the point I want to make is many people treat this as that's the way it is. It's like a law of nature. You can't do anything about it. And so I said, no, absolutely not. Almost everything in Planguage actually tries to reverse into positive entropy. I have a little page here very quickly with a reference to my 1976 book, Humanized Input, where a lot of the content there was how you take garbage in and get good data out. Long story short, okay? Which turns out to be the basis for the modern is it? There's oh damn it. There's a thing in modern software which automatically does this that everybody takes for granted that AI uses all the time. It turns out it traced back. Would that be in the next page? Yeah, there we are. Yeah, fork bar. Is that right? Direct. Yeah, it says a thing called fork bar, which does this. Is it all modern software? Is a direct descendant of my work in 1976.
Wow.
So there's the evidence and the detail. Yeah, but so what I'm doing, I'm just saying, look, this for me, this is half a century old practice, well documented, that garbage in does not result in garbage out.
Is that actually 60 years?
Yeah, I published 1976, and it's now 2026. Is that 50 years?
No, you said it says 1967 in the page there.
Oh no, 67 was when I practiced it. 76 was when I documented it.
Okay, so the book is 50 years old. The practice is 60 years old.
You got it. Yeah. I'm trying to go fast here. But,
sure. Okay. Sorry.
So we can always spend more time there. You've got access to it now to read it. But yeah, so I decided to take my Evo cycle and everything in it and show that everything in it had elements of here. I'm doing the stakeholders. If you do better stakeholders, you're fighting the entropy. If you do better values, you're fighting the entropy, and so on. Throughout the whole cycle. That's the if you define. Here's another one. If you define concepts and then agree to follow the definition, like what's the definition of parameter, then you are reducing the friction of people wasting time misunderstanding one another and making defects and doing wrong things. So just my concept glossary, where I have 700 systems engineering terms like these, and I have a rule. You want to play Planguage, you must adhere to these definitions. You cannot decide, I don't like that way you define parameter, I won't use it. That's like a football player deciding I want a square football instead of a round one because it's my taste. You don't do that. You play according to the rules. And I'm making this subtle point that I've never made before, that by having the very high class, here's a definition of one term in Planguage, okay, which is now totally accessible to AI and all of our systems, by the way. Okay, it's in there. So where we have all kinds of definitions and synonyms and comparison with standards and other things, and then even diagrammic relationships. But the mere fact of having such well-defined, stable things, and 700 that all know about each other. The other problem with definitions is, everybody's got different ones all over the place, even the standards organizations. Anyway, so I'm trying to make the point that even this subtle feature of Planguage, which is the 700 glossary definitions, results in positive entropy as opposed to negative entropy. And
so could you pause on that? Because having precise definitions, I can see how it maintains signal. I'm a little less clear on how that improves signal.
Oh, that's it. That's easy. The moment you have a human misunderstanding, you have it results in a defect. Somebody's going to write the wrong code or choose the wrong level of quality, and now that is a defect which will be discovered, for example, by testing. Then you have to go back and fix it. Now that's the cost. Now the moment you have agreed on the concepts and that defect doesn't happen, that cost doesn't happen.
Okay,
in other words, it not only stabilizes, but it gives positive instead of negative entropy.
I don't know. Preventing a defect feels more like avoiding negative entropy than creating positive entropy. That's it. That's max of marketing.
You can think about it. You can think about it.
I mean, but what I thought you were going to say, which would have given you positive entropy, is that the system is smart enough that when something goes wrong, it's caught at the point of error, and the system feeds back a better definition in the system so that it doesn't happen again?
I could go into that too, but I've got like zero
All right.
time on my
All
hands,
right.
so
Fair enough.
I'm skipping fast.
Okay.
There's more to this book. So here's just more. See, of the book, without going into it. And I'm claiming that these, and then there's some case study. I need to write more in the book, like what happened to Boeing and other places like that. But that in a nutshell is the noise book I have drafted. And I've got a pretty good start, and I've got more. I want to put in the Boeing experience and probably some others as case studies.
All right. We are
Done?
at
We're
time.
at.
Thank you so much. Yes, that was great.
So the equations, you have the book with the equations in them, and later we can talk about the equations. I try to turn language into a mathematical discipline with equations. Or
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll see if we don't have anything juicier come up between now and September. But hopefully early, I guess, first, second week of September is the next time we meet. Don't know. My prediction is that something interesting will have happened between Russia and Iran and Trump. I don't know what, but hopefully it'll be at least illuminating, and that might give us something juicy to talk about. And if it doesn't, I can talk about the failures of my models, and we can go from there.
Okay.
But, all right. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right.
Thank you both.
And
Bye-bye.
see you next month. Bye.